Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. Hopefully, you know who I am. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. This is the Immigration Answers live show. This is episode number 204. I am here today all by myself. Daniel is on assignment, and he will be for the next couple of weeks. Daniel is very busy working with the rest of our team on the intake crew. We had a great meeting today with our marketing and intake team. Love those guys. They're a great part of our firm. I am sipping some nice cool water out of my Darth Vader mug. Can you see that? Does the camera pick it up? Let's see. That's Darth Vader. Looks sort of like a dog, doesn't he, with the top of his helmet cut off? But I want to talk to you guys about something today. This is something that we were kicking around in the marketing department. For those of you who are actually inside the firm, you probably haven't heard this yet, but we're doing a little market research. And well, first of all, go ahead and leave us your comments. In the comments, let us know where you're watching from. I'm not going to be able to monitor those. I will trust that to my good friend and sidekick, Ms. Cooley. Here's the question. Besides letting us know where you're watching from, Yasher's saying hello as usual. Hello, Yasher. Hello to everybody who's chiming in. Let us know where you're watching from. And then here's what we're thinking. We are seriously considering publishing our legal fees. We're thinking about putting a page on the website that would actually list how much it costs to hire Hacking Immigration Law to be your lawyer. Now, let me give you a little bit of background. So for a long time, I was very reluctant to share that information. And in fact, the only way someone could find out how much it costs to work with us was to actually speak with me. And we made a big breakthrough about 1.5 years ago when we started allowing the leads team to tell new potential clients how much it might cost to work with us, sort of like what's the minimum amount that you can expect. The fact is that we get around 300 new contacts a week, and a lot of them can't afford us. And so our thinking is, if we publish our fees ahead of time and everyone in the world can see how much it costs to hire us to do a naturalization case or a green card case or a lawsuit, if we publish all that, I'm loving seeing where everybody's watching from. Thanks, Huli, for doing that. If we publish all that information and make it available to everybody, all comers, would that result in us getting more leads who are seriously considering hiring us? Because we don't have the time to actually talk to everyone that contacts us. We have to be hyper focused on people who can actually hire us. So, I mean, I'm just going to be completely transparent here. We get like 300 new contacts a week. We only select and sign up 20 cases. So that's less than 10% of the people that we actually talk to. So I'm spending a lot of money. Our firm is spending a lot of resources having people talk to our leads team while the leads team tries to figure out if this is a case that we could handle and if this is the kind of client that we want to work with, and is the client at least open, is the lead at least open to the idea of paying what we charge. Now, the fact of the matter is our fees are going to go up right after the 4th of July. I'm working right now on making much more detailed fee arrangements, fee agreements, and our fees are going up anywhere from $500 to $1,500 for each case type. So if you are thinking about hiring us, you might want to do that sooner rather than later, because July 5th, the fees are going to go up. But we had, it was actually Justin who sets up all this wonderful lighting and camera work for us, that sort of pushed this issue, because we've been talking about this phenomenon that we've been seeing in the firm where people think that we can solve every problem and that we can, if they hire us, we'll save them. And we don't want to be viewed as saviors. We want to be viewed as fierce advocates, strong lawyers who do a good job, but we're not saviors. We're not heroes. I'm in fact going to do a video. Somebody posted the other day that I'm a god. And so we're going to do a YouTube video about how I am not God specifically. So with that being said, if we could cut down on that 300 number of people who contact us each week, and if we knocked out 50 who knew that they couldn't afford us, I'm all about free resources. I'm all about giving people as much information as possible. That's why I do this show 4 days a week, trying to explain and help people navigate the immigration process. That's sort of like it's definitely helps us bring in business, but it also is a resource to lots of people who can't afford to hire us. I'm completely thinking out loud here, but we're thinking that if we publish the fees, then it's going to make life easier on everybody. I used to think that if I talked to a lead and told them how great I was and told them what we could do for them, that they would just pay us even if they couldn't afford it. That doesn't really happen. And I don't know that I necessarily even want it to happen. I don't want people to be in such financial pain that it's hard to pay our fees. I want people to understand the value that we provide and the services that we provide. And those who are able to afford it, that's who we can work with. And we have payment plans, and we definitely do some pro bono stuff. But it's a business, and we have 45 people on our team now that we've got to keep busy and making money and paying their bills and all that stuff. So I'd love to hear what people are thinking. Huli, if you could put a couple of the comments up there. Nikisha says, I think it's a good idea. Lay it something like a minimum amount that you would charge, or a range. That's what we're thinking, is a range. And in fact, what we're thinking about doing, here's the case type, here's the range, the low amount you might pay, the high amount, what the payment plan would look like. And we're thinking about publishing processing times, like our own internal processing time. So we might have a column. So let's say it's a I-130 spouse case here. We charge $6,000, $6,500, whatever it's going to be. You got to pay half up front, and then here's your payment plan. And then here's what you can expect for how long it's going to take. And sort of contrast that with the stated USCIS processing times, and sort of use our own internal data to share with you how long your case might take. We think that might be a real resource for people. So it's all laid out there for them. It's all like when you go to that store and your prices are all right there, and that way everybody's on the same page. So let me know in the comments, for those of you, Pineapple says, so people can know if they can afford it or not, right? And so I understand it's expensive, but I think that it's something that's important. So let's go ahead and start taking some calls. If you could do me a favor as a resource for me, that would be really helpful. Even if you're watching this on the replay, just leave us a comment if you think that's a good idea or not. If you think it would be helpful for us to post what it's going to cost to hire Hacking Immigration Law as your attorney. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's say hi to Marley. Hey, Marley.
Hi, hello. Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was able to hop in last week during the live stream, and I got a little nervous, so I didn't get to ask a final question.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a pending I-751, and I was, I think last time I asked what happens if divorce gets finalized while it's pending.
I
When,
remember your case.
yeah,
Yep.
when my question should have been, what do I do if we separated while it's pending? And a little background about our us is we've been together for 7 years before getting married. I entered the U.S. under K-1 visa,
Okay.
and then after over 2 years, um, we had to file the thing because the 90 days thing is up, and we were still living together then. But now I'm in the Philippines because we separated, and yeah, it's currently a pending case. I don't really find any resource on what to do if you're just separated and not yet divorced, or didn't even file for divorce yet. Because I know I have to declare it if we're like really getting divorced already, because just have to be honest to you, SCIS and stuff. But what if we don't have plans like solid plans on it yet.
Are you planning on coming back to the United States soon?
Yeah.
When you filed the I-751, were you living together or were you living separately?
We were still living together.
Okay, and then but I think I remember it was like a month after you filed the 751, you got separated. Is that right?
Yeah, and then we still have to, we cannot really file for divorce yet because we have to wait. And, you know, we don't know if we're getting divorced or not.
So I think that we can say that your 751 was filed in good faith because you were married and living together at the time that it was filed. But
Yeah.
if somebody files for divorce, I think that changes things, and I think you have to start paying attention to the 751. So
Mm,
the one thing that's the most important is you don't want them to accuse you of fraud,
mm,
right? So I would say that if he files for divorce or if you file for divorce, that you need to notify USCIS of that and be ready to file your own 751 without your spouse. That's
mm,
that's where I think this is headed, that you're going to have to refile a 751. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to get into the pros and cons of whether or not you should get divorced. That's for you to decide. But
Right.
from an immigration standpoint, it'd be better for you to figure that out sooner rather than later. Either you're going to write it out until you get the 10-year green card, or and I think if you're separated the whole time your 751 is pending, I think that's its own problem, because what happens is
Right.
when you apply for naturalization, then you're going to have problems because they're going to think you tricked them, even though it's just sort of a messy situation and it's hard to figure out what exactly to do. So I think that for now we can say your 751 is properly pending. You're
Mm,
still sorting out. You might get back together. Once a decision is made one way or the other, then I think you have to start firming things up immigration wise. So if you're going to stay together, then stay together. If you're going to get divorced, then I think from an immigration standpoint, it's better to get divorced sooner rather than later, because you're going to have to file your own 751. You don't want to get approved while a divorce is pending, because that's going to be messy when you apply for citizenship.
got you. Thank you.
All right. Good luck, Marley.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's say hi to Erdem. Hi, Erdem.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much for taking my call. And I have one question, sir, really quickly. So I have got for request for evidence form I-485 for my birth certificate, and we submit during the time we filed all of the documents. I submit my birth certificate that was translated by Turkish embassy, and I have noticed that some stamps were blurry. Would it be the reason that they send me requests for evidence?
Well, so there's a place on the internet called, on the State Department's website, called the Visa Reciprocity Table. They can tell you exactly what the birth certificate from Turkey should look like. So if you look up Visa Reciprocity Table, I can put that in the comments. It's a tricky word to spell. Visa Reciprocity Table.
Thank you,
Then type
sir.
in Turkey. It'll tell you exactly what your birth certificate should look like. If your birth certificate isn't issued by the agency that they list, or if it doesn't match the description, then you need to get someone in Turkey to get you a real copy of your real birth certificate.
Thank you, sir. I have one more question. And so, should I find someone to translate it again, or should we submit the same document?
Are you worried about the translation, or are you worried about the original?
I think so. We have got the original one, but translation might be it's not the might be not the
Who translated it?
Turkish embassy. It might be in not in the version that USCIS wants
But
us to
did
know put them
USCIS
in a way.
sorry.
Yeah,
Did
put them in a way that
USCIS
USCIS. Yes, sir.
You go ahead. Did USCIS complain about the translation or about the birth certificate itself?
I think birth certificate itself.
Yeah,
They did not say anything about translation.
So it's probably you probably don't have the right birth certificate. They're very specific about which birth certificate they want, and you probably don't have the right one.
Okay, I see your point, sir. Thank you so very much.
Good luck, Erdem. See you, buddy.
See you.
All right, that was Erdem. He's got birth certificate issues. Let's see if Georges is with us. Georges? Georges, are you with us? I can hear you. All right, Georges missed their chance. So I had Island Gal. What's up, Island Gal?
Hey Jim, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good, thank you. So I have a quick question. I filed my I-751 last year, May. So
Yeah.
it's been over a year. And I want to file my citizenship based on 3 years marriage so I'm not sure if it's too early to file.
How's everything with the marriage?
Great.
So, in the old days, Island Gal, the 751 used to take about 3 or 4 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it takes 2 years, which is ridiculous, right?
Very.
Yeah, ridiculous. So when I first figured that out, I got really mad and I told people, man, go ahead, Island Gal, go ahead and apply for your citizenship, right? Like screw those guys making you wait so long. But then lots of problems happened, right?
Mhm.
So people would show up and they get an interview notice for the N400, but not for the 751. Or they'd get an interview notice on the 751, but not the N400. Or they'd get notices for both, but when they'd show up, the officer would say, I only know how to do an N400. I don't know how to do a 751. So it's led to lots of problems. So my current advice is wait until the 751 is approved to apply for citizenship, unless there's some important reason why you need your citizenship, right?
Okay.
So if there's some other reason, like you need to get your mom off the island, or you need to get some kid back with you off the island, or whatever. If you have some special reason, I'd go ahead and do it. But if you watch the show for any length of time, you'll hear from lots of people who have the 751 and the N400 pending, and it screws them up.
Okay. Understand. All right. Thank you so much for your help. Keep up the great.
That was easy. Have a good day.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Let's say hi to Agatha. Agatha, are you with us?
Yes. I thanks so much for answering my call. So I talked to you guys, I think in January, something like that. I applied for VAWA, and my VAWA was approved. And after that, my working card expired. So this much they send me a new working card for 2 years. After they take like 1 year and 5 months for renew the new one. But 2 days my birthday, and they sent for me one request evidence for my exam medic, and they say I have too much for things like they begin the September, the 1st September, and they go have they go say hold on, sorry, my English is no good.
You're doing great.
I go check here what they say. I'm a little
hold on a second. What language do you speak?
Portuguese.
Portuguese. Okay.
Yes. They say they go hold on a second. Sorry.
Did you say today's your birthday?
Yeah, today's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So they say they going and answer my case, say like approve or not, basically, and they request the evidence about my exam medic, something like that. But I don't understand because they don't say nothing about the interview.
Well, I think this might be a good sign. Usually when they ask for your medical ahead of your interview, sometimes that means they're going to approve it without an interview.
But like the white paper, they don't even send, like my sister, they marry American guy, so they have like yellow color, mine is white, and they say they going. I'm a little confused because even my lawyer don't know how to say. It's like, oh my gosh, and my birthday I'm in panic because like I go see like, oh my gosh, maybe it's bad sign because they only ask for my exam, and they go say about they going, if I don't send in the time, they go denying my case, or they going yeah, they say go denying my case if I don't send in the time.
I think this is only a good sign. It's not a bad sign. I wouldn't be worried about it. Are you saying you don't have a copy of the actual request for evidence? Is that what you're saying?
I do have copy, but the copy say, hold on, sorry. Okay, they say here, we go and make decision basic your evidence. The
Based
only
on your,
evidence they ask is about my exam.
is that a one-page piece of paper that you have there in front of you?
Two piece paper.
I mean,
And
it's
they ask for 1693.
yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. I would just get them the medical, send it in, and see what happens.
I mean, I'm shaky. I'm
No,
really
no.
shaky. Like, cause like today's my birthday, and my building say like, oh, you have email. I open say, oh my gosh.
No, I think this
everything.
I think this is good. I wouldn't be worried about this. I think this is good.
Because they send for me the working permission for 2 years. They send the
Yeah.
same day, the same birth. The
Have
2
you,
years
just real
working.
quick, hold on. Have you ever been arrested?
No, never.
Have you ever been in trouble with immigration?
No, never.
And
Only one trouble be like because my husband beat me up after my husband died one day after, so I applied for VAWA. My VAWA take 1 year and 9 months for approve.
Yeah, so let's walk through it. They approved your I-360. They approved your
Yes.
VAWA. They sent you this request for evidence. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I haven't seen many instances where they say, hey, send us your medical, no interview, and then they deny the case. That's not how they do it. They would tell you to bring your medical to the interview, then they'd beat you up at the interview, then they would deny it. So the fact that they want to decide it on the paper is a good thing, not a bad thing. I think you should say, happy birthday to me. This is a good thing, and be happy.
Yeah, but like they send it for, I send for the ops. They send the name of the ops. Somebody need to send, like, I live in Philadelphia. So they send me a few ops for me, for I send the paper for the few ops. But they don't say nothing about the interview.
That's great. That means we're going to decide it at the service center and you're not going to have an interview. This is all good stuff.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thanks so much. Thank you for all job you do for us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, listen, when you get your green card, call back and let me know for sure that I was right, okay?
Okay, so I can ask you one few questions. It's really easy. So my dress here, she's applied for her paper. So she's coming from don't come like visa. I come from visa. I have visa here for coming over here. So she's applied for asylum. After that, she's married an American guy.
Yeah.
And now she's go to Brazil, and now they can left. She's come back. Why? You know, why they do that?
Why'd she go to Brazil?
Because she's coming from the border, so she need to go to Brazil for take one little paper and come back from the come back for West, something like that.
Maybe she needed some kind of waiver. I don't know. I'd have to look at all of her stuff.
Okay, thank you. I'm a little curious because I lost my hairdresser. I'm in pain because like I don't have dress.
Have a great birthday, Agatha. Don't worry about this.
Right. See ya.
All right. Well, it's not every day we get someone calling into the Immigration Answers Show on their birthday. That's pretty exciting. We're always happy to celebrate people's birthdays with them. Remember, if you want to come on, I got to see your face when you're in the waiting room just so that I know that you're there. You don't have to be on camera when we're talking. I'm going to say hi to Sophia. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, Jim. Assalamu alaikum. I think
How you doing?
I'm good. I think your upfront pricing idea is amazing, so people know ahead of time, hey, I can hire him or I cannot hire him, because all I gotta say is that immigrants are hardworking people. They value that dollar.
There's no doubt about that. And you know, one of the best. So my wife is an Arab and an immigrant, and she loves to haggle. And I said long ago that I don't get to haggle because if I do, she's going to yell at me. So I totally get. Yeah, I think I'm leaning that way. We just want to sort of we wanted to know what the people think. So I appreciate that, Sophia. What can I help you with?
So I have a quick scenario. Nephew got married. He's young. You know, the older generation, they take their answers from them say, he says, she said, all says, except the right saying. So his question is basically, as he's a 10-year green card holder, his wife came here on her visa. She had a return ticket, but like I said, parents are very old school because they're Muslims. You can't sleep for my daughter. You're gonna send her back, the whole given 9 yards. So he was just wondering if he can still apply for her. Or does he have to wait till he become a citizen?
So are they married?
Um, I think they got married legally months after.
A
Because
month
the
after or a
dad,
month?
no, months after. Because the dad was so old fashioned. He's like, oh, you're gonna sleep with my daughter, you're gonna send her back. You know how Muslim people are,
Yeah.
how they behave. So that's my situation right now with him.
So a green card holder can sponsor their spouse as long as they're legally married. Right now, it takes about the same amount of time as citizens. In the past, there have been times where there's a delay for the spouses of green card holders, especially under Donald Trump. But now it should go just as fast as if they're a U.S. citizen. How did that person, the green card holder, how did they get their green card?
Their grandparents sponsored their parents, and they came
Perfect.
under their parents. So that's how he got his green card.
So
So
not
basically, they
not
got to
through
wait a
marriage.
full 5 year. No, they got to wait a full 5 year to apply for their citizen.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to wait to become a citizen. He can apply for his spouse right now.
Awesome. That's what I want to know. So here's the next scenario I have for you.
Yep.
So I went in, you told me, you advised me to go in for my other stamp. Jim, I went in for my stamp, come back, and my stuff says my N400 application, my interview has been scheduled.
Oh.
So my question, this is my question. With a situation where I was an abused woman, my husband abused me, like how does an N400 run for me who's abused? Meaning I give them all the evidence. I've been in the queue, I've been waiting, I applied for it. I don't know how my interview is gonna go. That's where like I wanna have an idea of what's gonna go on in my life.
So you applied on the 3-year rule or the 5-year rule?
5-year rule. Actually, 4 year, 9 month heading into the
That's still the 5-year rule. It's just 3 months early.
Okay.
So are you asking me how much detail are they going to go into about the marriage and or the abuse? Is that what you want to know?
Yes, for the N400, because this is what I'm going for, my citizenship interview now.
Did you get the 751 approved filed jointly or separately or what?
So I had my 2-year, then I went on my extension. For my extension, I went on a stamp. Actually, this is my second stamp because I had my ex-lawyer had refiled a second I-751, which is called a solo, not a joint.
Yep.
So that was the correct way she went. All my evidence when I said this interview in New York went under my joint EAC number, my joint EAC. But when I went in for my second stamp now, I saw the lady put my solo EAC number on top of my stamp in my passport. So I mean, I sit an I-751 second interview where they had my police report, divorce papers, evidence of my abuse, like with the blood coming out of my back and stuff like that. So I was just wondering, how does it go with an N400 abuse case?
Well, so there's really not such a thing as an N400 abuse case. Typically, they wouldn't get into that. But I'm trying to figure out if has the 751 either one of them been approved?
No.
So, yeah. So you got to be ready for anything at your interview. They might not be ready to do your 751, as silly as that is. They might want to just do the N400. So you are probably, and you haven't gotten an interview notice on either 751. It's just for the N400, right?
Just for the N400. The last time I had a notice for my I-751, they said they canceled my I-751 interview. But how can you cancel an interview that I already sit with an officer and hand him all this good stuff, and he placed all these good stuff in my joint EAC number folder? How can you cancel an interview that I already sit? That's the problem.
They love that stuff. That's their typical type of stupid shit. So that's not that big a deal. So when was the last time you got online to check the status of each of those cases?
Today.
Okay.
So I've been checking it since it updated. Since like the same day I went in for the stamp, the same day it updated for the N400 interview, and I was shocked out of my wits. I almost dropped dead. Like, you cut me, you couldn't find blood.
Do you think your spouse would have sent them a letter saying you're a bad person?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would not put it past them. There are things that I cannot even tell you on air that what these people do to me.
I don't want you. Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry about all that. So I think you got to be ready for a rock fight. I think they're going to come at you with everything. I mean, hopefully you'll get a nice officer who feels sorry for the fact that you were married to an abusive person who made your back bleed. But you got to be ready for the opposite. You got to get ready for the angry dude who thinks women just make shit up and that you're doing whatever you can to stay in the United States. You got to be ready either way. So now I understand what you're saying. It's not so much that they're going to have an abuse naturalization case. It's that they still haven't solved the 751. They haven't figured out what they want to do with that. And you need that. They can't approve the N400 unless the 751's been approved. So I would say you should bring an attorney with you, and you got to be ready for anything.
Okay. What evidence do you think I should walk with? Because I am so lacking. I don't know what to walk with. I gave them everything I had. I don't know what else to do.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen what you have, but I mean, I would think you'd want to have evidence of the relationship, the history, the life together, the abuse, and then the divorce. So I think you want to document all of it and be ready to talk about all of it. I don't know if you need to bring extra new stuff about the marriage if you've given them everything that you have.
That's what I don't know what to walk with for right now, because another thing that happened with my I-751 interview, when I said it, they asked for my 2017 bank statements and tax return. I never got a request for evidence yet, period. It's just that I did 2 interviews, my initial interview and then the second interview, which was by myself. But I think my folder was in 2 different places. So these things that I already handed at my first initial joint interview with my ex, it was just at a Long Island office in New York and not in the Queens office in Manhattan. So the officer said he will request my file and get it. But at the same time, my lawyer and I took the opportunity to send it to him, like mail it to him, because we knew his name, we knew what his information, so we mailed it to him. Never got a request, never updated, nothing. So I am so confused about this situation right now. That's why I'm calling.
I think you assume that the person sitting across from you is not going to have jack shit, so you got to bring everything.
Yeah, that's what my brain is telling me. Thank you. And another quick thing about the I-751, I had a friend who went in for her N400. She got it. She's a U.S. citizen. Thank God. It's been a roller coaster for her too, with the waiting period. Her I-751 was not approved, but when she went in, the officer was so nice. He told her the reason why we never approved your I-751 is that we didn't have enough evidence. And if you have anything concerning that, can you please give it to us? And I think she just walked out the building and they updated. That was how fast it went.
That happens.
So I'm getting ready to take whatever I can put my hand on, because another thing, Jim, my ex knew what he was doing. He destroyed my stuff. Yeah. So that's the situation I can only scrape what I have. Sorry.
What about the lawyer? Doesn't the lawyer have a copy of everything?
Whatever I give to her, but his information is withheld. I cannot have any of those good stuff. Like when my husband actually hit me, his citizenship certificate, passport, and social security was not in our apartment. So that's how I knew my husband knew what he was going to do to me. That's how much, because I packed up his stuff.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that the lawyer who handled, so is the same lawyer who handled your 751 joint handling your 751 solo, or is it a different attorney?
No, I moved.
Yeah. Well, that 751 attorney, the original one, they have to give you a complete copy of what was filed in your case. They can't keep out the husband's stuff. That's bullshit.
Nope, she did not. She withhold his information. She says client's attorney privilege, just she cannot give me that.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit, and you should go get it.
I wish I could. She'll just give me hell and back to get it. I know her.
Well, there's a way to fix that.
My FOIA?
Well, no, you won't get it that way, but she has a bar license and she represented you. You're being harmed. She filed something on your behalf. I mean, I guess that there's an argument that you're not entitled to it, but if it was filed in your case on your behalf, I don't know how she can hold that back from you.
All right. Thank you, Jim. That's what I needed to know. And thank you for what you're doing for our community. I just needed answers and help, because I'm a little
That's an interesting question. Good luck, Sophia. Keep us posted.
Thank you. I will. Have a good night.
Okay, bye. So you guys see how things get so jacked up in immigration land. I mean, we're dealing with personalities and individuals and a big bureaucracy. It's just an interesting time to be an immigration lawyer. I'm sure it's an interesting time to be an immigrant. You're listening to the Immigration Answer Show. This is episode 200 and something. Julio will tell me. I think it's 205, 203 maybe. It's number 204. It's great to be with all of you. I'm enjoying it. Sorry I wasn't here yesterday. I was feeling sort of sick, and you can still probably hear in my voice, and I've been coughing off and on. Hopefully that is moving away, and we're going to do a makeup show on Friday at 3 o'clock. So yesterday's missed show, we will make up on Friday. Let's say hi to Yazid. Hi, Yazid.
Hi, how are you, Jim?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good, thank you. So I came here in the US in 2016 and as a student, and then applied for asylum case 2017. My case still pending. I got married, and then I got my conditional green card. After that, I withdrew my asylum case.
Great.
Now I'm planning to go visit my family in Saudi Arabia. So I was born and grew up in Saudi Arabia, but I'm Yemeni citizen. And when I did the asylum, I was asked for protection from going back to Yemen due to like religious belief.
Yeah.
So can I go back in Saudi Arabia visit my family?
So the country that you sought asylum from, was it Saudi Arabia or was it Yemen?
The country that I was asking for protection?
Yeah.
Yemen, but I put some examples of Saudi Arabia in my story.
Well, I guess my question is, did you tell the U.S. government that it wasn't safe for you to go back to Saudi Arabia? That's my question.
In my story, no. I was just saying in my story that it's not safe for me to go back to Yemen. And I will put example in Yemen is as in Saudi in a lot of stuff. But for the documents my lawyer submit, I don't know what documents.
Well, I don't care. I don't care about the document so much. And let's play with this for a minute.
Okay.
The reason why you can't go back to, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying this is just for everybody. The reason that someone who seeks asylum in the United States can't go back to that country is because they swore under oath that if they went back to that country, they would be persecuted, right?
Yeah.
So they swore under oath that that was true.
Yeah.
And the real problem is if the United States then gives you asylum because of what you said, and then you go back, or even if they don't give you asylum, but you get a green card through marriage like you did, there's still this statement that's floating out in the air of you saying, I can't ever go back to X country. So for most people, not you, Yazid, but for most people, that's the problem. They've sworn under oath they can't go back to their country, and now, unless there's been a change in conditions, now they want to go back because they're safer because they have their green card. That's the general problem. The way this applies to you is, in my mind, if you've sworn either in your documents, in your filing, or in your interview, if you swore that it wasn't safe for you to go back to Saudi Arabia, or that you couldn't go live in Saudi Arabia because bad things would happen to you, then you shouldn't go back there. But if you said everything bad was in Yemen, then I think generally it's okay.
Yeah, it was about Yemen because it's my home country. Like it's my citizen. I never lived there.
Yeah. So you're saying let's just say, you're just saying there's conditions that are present in Yemen that also are present in Saudi Arabia. You said that sort of during your comments because they're both Muslim Arab countries, and now you're worried that it's not safe for you to go back to Saudi but you weren't seeking refuge from Saudi, so I think you're okay.
Yeah, I will just like put an example, like the law is the same for banishment.
Yeah.
But I never asked for protection from Saudi because it's not my home country. I know I was born and grew up there, but I never asked for protection. Because my lawyer put in Yemen because it's my home country.
Usually in asylum, did they ask you, could you just go live in Saudi Arabia? Usually they'll ask that. Like, do you have rights to live there? What did you say?
Well, I never got my interview.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
that's even better. Yeah.
Yeah, I was still pending, and then I get my green card to marriage, and then I withdraw my asylum case.
Got it. I think you're good.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye, Yazid. See you, buddy.
Bye. Thanks.
All right, we're just dispensing love left and right. Let's say hi to Jessica. What's up, Jessica?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for everything that you do, by the way. I spoke
Sure.
to the office today. They told me to come here, so they were
Oh,
very.
great. What can I help you with?
I'm calling because my husband's in Morocco and I'm planning to file the CR1 visa. He was previously deported from Germany in 2019. He was there for 4.5 years. And when I was going to file or fill out the application, it asks if you were ever, I don't remember how it words it. I think it says immigration proceedings. And I could not figure out if I needed to mention it at this part of the application or if it's more of an NVC stage type of question because it asks for city, town, and state. And the only option for the drop down once you go to state, it says armed forces, Africa, et cetera, et cetera.
On
Armed,
the I-130?
yes.
They ask about whether you've been deported on the I-130?
They ask about if you were ever involved in immigration proceedings.
All right, cool. I'm going to pull it up. Hold on. Let me see.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't have to list this, but I just want to make sure.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to. We want to be honest and say everything. I hope it doesn't cause a lot of problems as long as
Yeah,
we're honest.
I would say he's never been to the United States.
Never.
I would say no.
You would say no? Okay. Okay. Thank you. And
That was
then
easy. Yeah, go ahead. I get something else.
thank you. I guess if something ends up going wrong, I already said that I was gonna hire you in the future if we have a
Yeah.
problem when it comes to interview time. But
Yeah.
as far as that deportation from another country goes, he has no criminal record. Nothing happened. He was just there illegally. Do you have any advice moving forward?
Well, I mean, do you know that that's not a crime in Germany? I don't know that that's not a crime in Germany.
Well, I guess being somewhere illegally is not a good thing, but he didn't get deported because he was doing something bad. Like he didn't get caught doing something bad.
Right, but is the fact of being in the country without permission, is that in and of itself a crime?
I don't know. How would I find that out?
I think you'd have to get a lawyer in Germany to research, an immigration lawyer in Germany to let you know about that.
Okay. Okay, because I know that we will likely have to, because you have to list addresses. He was in Germany. We want to be upfront with everything.
Well, and he's going to have to get a police certificate.
Yeah, so he actually already applied for that. We're waiting for that in the mail.
And you know you'll have to do it again later, but it's good to do one now.
Yeah, because they expire, right? Is that why?
Because they expire, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll have him contact someone. I didn't even think about that. I just figured across the country that being deported was not good. So
Yeah, being deported is never good, and generally I don't think that would keep him from getting a visa to come to the United States, especially if he's married to a US citizen, but we can't assume that every country is like the United States where being deported is a civil matter, not a criminal. I could certainly see a scenario where other countries treat it as a civil matter and a crime, and that's what you need to. But you did the police certificate. I don't think you need it, right? Well, does the I-130 ask anything about criminal stuff, or is that just? I think that's all at the NVC. I think most of this is gonna be at the NVC.
yeah, it doesn't say anything. It just asked for the immigration proceedings, but then it didn't give me an option for another country. So I don't want to mess it up, and I want to.
Yeah, I would just say no to that.
Yeah. Okay. And then yeah, what I wanted to mention was he's already, if he wanted to go back to Germany, he can. He was only banned for 2 years, so, or suspended rather, I guess. So
Well, he'd have to get a visa, and they'd have to let him in, and they probably wouldn't.
okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much for your help.
You got it, Jessica. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Bye-bye. Let's say hi to Ari. Hi, Ari.
How about now? Can you hear us?
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
So
What can I help you with?
So I am in the United States right now on a student visa, and we got married, and we're trying to fill out the forms and everything, and we have some questions about the forms.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
so for the I-864, sorry.
Yes.
So when you get to part 2, it's about the principal immigrant, and then
Yeah.
they start asking questions about mailing address.
Okay, wait, before that, so because he doesn't have like a stable job, he's like an intern and he gets random jobs like
I'm a student.
and
I'm a
he's
full-time
he's
student.
yeah, he's a full-time student. So he would fill one out and then someone else, like for example, his dad would fill another one out, correct?
If the dad's willing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
so
the U.S. citizen spouse is always the first primary petitioner and the
Mhm.
first person to sign the affidavit of support.
Yeah.
okay, and when we send those in, is it through mail? And they would just
I would send it by Federal Express, and I would keep a copy of it, and so you want to have proof that it was delivered.
And so you would send both of them together.
The affidavits of support.
yeah,
Yes.
would they have to be in the same envelope or
Yeah, put those all in the same in the overall application. Yep.
okay,
Yeah, and
sure.
and the more general questions that we have, like for example, for the because we still have to file all the forms for the I-130, and can that be filed together with the I-145, or do I have to necessarily wait for the receipt number to file the I-145?
You mean the I-485?
I-145 is that yeah, the I-145.
The I-485?
I-485. I'm so sorry.
Okay. You definitely want to file the I-130 with the 485. If you don't, it's going to screw up the case because they're going to think you're overseas.
Okay, but because it says you need like the receipt from the I-130, like it
Yep.
asks for the receipt in the I-485 form, and if we file them together, how are we gonna get the receipt?
You
Like
leave
I
it
just
blank.
leave it blank.
Mhm.
I just leave it blank. Okay.
Okay. And back to the affidavit of support. So when it asks for the mailing address, we're moving. So in the process of filling it out, when we submit it, if we move to another place, we'll have a different mailing address. Would that be how would we go about that?
How long after you file are you planning on moving?
We're planning on moving beginning of July.
So wait to file until you have your new address.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in 10 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's in 10 days? July.
That we're moving. So we should
Okay.
put in the address that we're moving to, correct?
Yeah, and we'll wait to file it until after.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
And then
Yeah, that's basically it. But it's just about the addresses. We're confused because like his dad is also gonna be filing for this form, and he's also moving. So and he's moving in like 2 months. And what if when they get the form, he put the old address and then he's moved? Like, how are they gonna look at that?
That'll be okay. They don't care. They don't care too much about the address of the co-sponsor.
Okay. Okay, that's
sure.
good.
Now, let me ask you a question. Just because I care about you, even though I think you guys are in over your head, what forms are you planning on filing? Just so that we're all on the same page. When you send in the packet, what forms are you planning on sending besides the I-145?
Well, the
I-130.
I-1693 for the medical exam, and then the travel document application, the employment authorization, and then both of the I-864. That's basically, and then the I-130 together with the I-130A that I have to fill out.
Perfect. Okay, good. Okay, great. Well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye guys.
Thank
All right, well, they seemed like a very nice couple. I left it for the comments. I think that a lot of people try to do it on their own, and I think that the people that you guys have all seen, you guys know that filling out this stuff is more than filling out forms, and I wish them well. Let's say hi to Afshan. Hello, Afshan.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. So I'm calling from India. I filed a CR1 for my husband. It's been 10 months since we got our NOA1. So now we're planning on getting my name added to his passport as the spouse and also getting the police clearance certificate. So, would you suggest this is the right time to get the PCC? Because, how long is it valid?
6 months.
6 months.
You
All
should
right.
wait. You should wait until they tell you to.
All right. Okay.
Or you should at least wait until you've paid your fees at the National Visa Center. You want to be done at USCIS.
Mhm.
I would, if it were me, I would wait until they ask for it, but definitely not now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And Afshan, do you live in India, or are you just there visiting him right now, or what's the deal with that?
I've been here for a while. I'm returning in a couple of months.
Okay, so you have
so-
your residency and everything in the United States is still fine. No problems there.
No, actually, I've been here for the past couple of years. I will be returning shortly. I have my documents ready for domicile. So that is not
Paying your taxes and everything.
I did not work, so I have not filed taxes before, but I did file it this year. With a zero income.
So you need to go back and do that for the last couple of years too, because you're going to need to send in 3 years of tax returns. So go ahead and I would work on that now. That part's okay.
Yeah, I also have a joint sponsor.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. You still need to do that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then so then if you come back to the United States for a while around the time you get to the National Visa Center and just sort of freshen up or reestablish your domicile, that'll be good enough for when he gets his interview.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Sure.
So there is one issue about the PCC that the current address that we're living at is different from the permanent address that we've provided. So my question is, does the address from which you apply the PCC or the passport have any, does it matter where you apply from?
As long as you're in the same country and the same general area, it should be fine.
Okay.
And I assume that when you get to the National Visa Center, you do the DS 260, you'll use the address where you're currently living now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you'll be fine.
Okay, what if it's different? I mean, what if
Why is it different? Why are you not using the right address?
He works in a different city than where we are actually from, so that is the difference.
But why not just put the address where he is?
Okay, all right, we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay. One more question.
You're
how
fine.
how long do you think this whole process will take? I mean,
yeah, so we were talking about that with the leads team today. If you're 10 months in and you haven't gotten approved by USCIS yet, so you're probably right around 2 years total.
All right. Okay. That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Bye, Afshan. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Let's say hi to Sebastian. Hi, Sebastian.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
You go ahead.
Oh, Jim. No, I was just joining the chat. Really not a question. Just to congratulate you for the new content. It looks really cool. All the videos look very nice. The audio is really, really nice too. I received my green card actually back in April. I was the case that I made a mistake because I filed the forms by myself, and I was listening to the couple before. I made the mistake when I filed my form I-130. I sent it by itself, and then I filed my I-485 with the receipt, with the receipt number and stuff. And yes, exactly what you said was the case. They thought that I was outside, and that delayed my case by probably a couple months. So
And you got
Yeah,
sort of
so
lucky.
I was
You
just
got sort of
stopping by
lucky.
to say hi and just to give a little bit of feedback. But yes, so that's it, Jim. That's it, Jim. I just wanted to say hi. Okay.
Thanks, buddy. Good seeing you.
All right. Bye bye.
Thanks, Sebastian. Always happy when we hear someone gets their green card and then they come back and say thank you. We're always excited about that. I see that we have Ricky Ricardo here. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's going on? I have a hypothetical scenario for you that involves.
Ooh, this sounds fun.
Yeah, it involves a fictional story of two people. We'll call them Fred and Ethel.
Fred and Ethel, your downstairs neighbors. Very
Yes,
good. I like it, Ricky.
who moved recklessly. All right. So Fred is a Mexican national from Juarez, Mexico. Ethel is a legal permanent resident of the United States living in El Paso. Fred entered the United States about 7 months ago. It was the last time he received an I-94, and got married to Ethel 3 days after his I-94 expired.
Oh, that's all right. Oh,
Yeah.
she's a green card holder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what should I tell my downstairs neighbors to do?
Okay, so how far is Ethel from being able to apply for her citizenship?
She could have already. She's been here 7 years.
So why hasn't she?
That's a good question. Nobody has a clear answer to that.
So I bet Ethel probably has something in her background that makes her scared to apply.
No.
Okay.
I think she just doesn't want to learn the language.
And when was Fred's entry, and what's the date of the marriage?
So the entry, I don't remember the
Roughly.
dates, but they're exactly like 165 days apart.
Yeah, but how long has he been inside the United States, I guess is my question.
165. Well, at the time of the marriage, 165 days. The marriage was about a month ago.
Oh, okay. All right. So, man, why? So he got married after the I-94 expired, and he hasn't filed for anything yet.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So I think this depends on risk tolerance and nervousness tolerance. I mean, on the one hand, his I-94 has expired, so he should go pretty soon, but then he's going to consular process through Juarez, and that's like 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So in theory, they could file the I-130 now as a standalone I-130. She could apply for her citizenship at the same time. And then if she gets her citizenship, then she can file for the 485. Or they could just wait until she gets her citizenship and then file it all together. But that being said, from a purely immigration standpoint, the safest thing for him to do is to go back home and consular process.
Right. So in this fictional scenario, Fred is living a very risky existence by.
Yeah, he's one knock away from getting put into deportation. Now, these days, even if he got put in deportation, he gets that I-130 approved, and we show that she's on a path to citizenship. They could probably get the Biden team to sort of slow down the deportation and speed up the naturalization. But if she's been here for a long time, she should, probably be in El Paso, probably, 8 or 9 months till she gets her citizenship if she can pass the English, and then they're good to go.
Okay. And so the only path forward to really de-risk their situation is for her to naturalize.
Or him to go back to Juarez.
Yeah, even though if he goes back to Juarez, he's still going to have unlawful presence in the United States.
Well, but it's only a month.
Okay.
As long as it's under 6 months, he won't have that 6-month bar, a 3-year bar.
Got it. Okay. So whatever they do, they need to decide quickly because there is a clock.
Yeah, there's a clock.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if these were real people, I would share a clip of this video, but this is all a fictionalized scenario.
That's awesome. Thanks, Ricky.
All right. Thanks,
Jim. See you, brother. All right.
Bye.
And that'll do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, the 15th. We'll be back same bat time, same bat channel, 4 p.m. Central. Then we'll be off on Thursday because I'm going to Kansas City for an asylum interview. I'll report back to you on Friday about that asylum interview. It's a pretty interesting case. I'm excited about it. I haven't been to an asylum interview in quite some time, so I'm excited. I'm covering it for the rest of the team because Amani, Andrew, Katerina, who was on the show last week, Christian, Christina, and Tim are all going to be in New York for the American Immigration Lawyers Association. So I'm left here with my good friend Paul holding down the fort, and I'm going to Kansas City for an asylum interview. We'll see you all tomorrow. That'll be Immigration Answer Show 205, and it'll be tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Time. Look at Julie. She's the queen of those banners. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Julia, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out.